This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLesio and Kenny Bergamy.
All right, let the fun begin. A lot has happened since we last saw you. New stories, new arguments between Kenny and I as to who's going to read what in this show, and we just flipped a coin, so he gets the rundown.
Yes, always called tails. Straight ahead, a trip to Savannah for the Georgia Dairy Conference to see what new ideas were passed along to help farmers improve both the economic conditions of their operation as well as the health of their cattle. Some would argue South Georgia is now a major player in the U.S. citrus industry. Now, while that may be up for debate, this producer certainly has no complaints. John Holcomb with a special feature on Gillis Grove in Atkinson County.
Plus, we're kicking off year 10 of Meals from the Field with a tasty chicken recipe that'll help you stick to those macros. That's short, by the way, for macronutrients. Apparently, that is the big thing now. All this and more starts right now on the Farm Monitor.
After seeing prices fall below $3 in 2018, milk rebounded in a big way last year, posting record high numbers. However, with those numbers expected to dip in the coming year, attending events like the annual Georgia Dairy Conference in Savannah is vital for dairymen looking to improve efficiency. Damon Jones has the story.
Between the new technology, information sessions, and networking, the more than 500 in attendance for the Georgia Dairy Conference got a one-stop shop for updates on the industry. And it's an industry that received some much-needed relief in 2022 thanks to a number of factors.
We go back a couple years ago, milk prices were low. We saw milk production decline. More dairy farmers go out of the business, got rid of cows, so supply went down. Then as people started recovering from the pandemic, milk demand went up. So we had dairy demand exceeding dairy supply.
That was good news for Georgia dairymen after years of struggling to turn a profit. And while a drop in price is expected, there is still plenty of room for optimism heading into the new year.
2022 was a record year for milk prices, not only here in Georgia, but throughout the United States. Milk prices will be lower next year, or here this year in 2023. And my projections are prices will be down about 10 to 15%. Even though prices are going to be lower next year, we still need to keep it in perspective. That still could be the third highest milk price in history.
While those high prices are a welcome sight for milk producers, they are also the main reason there's likely to be some recession in 2023.
Milk prices were high. It brought on more milk. Dairy farmers reacted, produced more. Now we have more production. But these high prices raised consumer prices in the store. Prices of milk, cheese, butter went up. Demand has softened. Demand has also softened in the export market. So now we've got more milk, lower demand, bringing prices down.
Combine that with the ever-rising cost of production, and dairymen are once again looking to do more with less, which is why getting the most up-to-date information at events like this are vital to the success of their operation.
The cost to produce 100 weight of milk keep increasing. All costs keep going up, and that's a large part of this conference here. A lot of expert speakers giving information to dairy farmers how they can better manage or control their costs, because margins are shrinking, so there's going to be less money to operate on this year.
And if recent history is any indicator, milk producers here in Georgia are capable of weathering any storm.
Georgia showed the highest increase in total milk production of any state last year. So dairy farmers here do a good job in Georgia. They're able to manage not only in the better times, but also in the not so good times. So they will survive.
Reporting from Chatham County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Well, farmers and ranchers, listen up. February 6th, the deadline to respond to the latest Census of Agriculture. Sam Kiefer, VP of Public Policy for American Farm Bureau, on why your response matters.
The Census of Agriculture is done every 5 years. It covers all of agriculture production, and it's the one and only complete count of farms and ranches in America and the people who operate them. It's used by lawmakers not only at the federal level but also at state and local level to make important decisions that impact rural communities. The Census of Agriculture is also used by organizations like Farm Bureau and those who advocate on behalf of farm and ranch families.
Again, you have until February 6th to submit your response. Now, meantime, depending on who you talk to, citrus season here in Georgia is just about over, but one operation in Atkinson County is already looking ahead to the future.
John HOLCOMB reports on Gillis Grove and how their quick success encouraged them to expand their operation.
Just a few years ago, this grove that you see here was nothing but a dream in its earliest stages of reality. However, today, as you can certainly tell, it's a beautiful, fully grown and fully operational Satsuma grove full of fresh, juicy fruit ready to be harvested. An endeavor the Gillis family set out to do in 2018 when they saw an opportunity and seized it.
My wife and I discussed growing citrus. We saw a couple farms coming up in Georgia, and we thought it was very interesting and new. So we decided we'd put in these 15 acres and diversify. And felt like there was a need for fresh citrus on the East Coast. Such a sad story what's going on in Florida, and there's honestly a little bit of an opportunity here in Georgia. And with our climate, I know it's not something people think about in the state of Georgia as far as growing citrus, but you know, citrus varieties has come a long way with being able to withstand the cooler weather. So we felt like it was an opportunity, and we jumped right on it.
As you can certainly tell by the trees loaded down with fresh fruit, they seem to be doing well, which according to Gillis can be attributed to their South Georgia climate, which is great for the trees and allows them to produce a great crop.
In the fall, as we have a gradual cooling of temperatures, it helps our trees go into dormancy faster. In other regions, they never go dormant. They're vibrant all year. That's not necessarily the case with us. We may not have quite as vigorous of a citrus tree, but that tree going into dormancy helps us as far as our tree being able to take the cold weather. Another thing the cold weather does is it increases our sugars and helps our fruit tree ripen. You know, so when we're picking Satsumas, everything is ready to go to the store when it comes off the tree. So it's as good as it's going to get. We're not leaving it there hanging. It's as good as it's going to get when we pick it.
After seeing such great success in the past few years, Gillis says they're working on expanding their grove by adding acres and new varieties of citrus to the farm.
Future is very bright. I mean, we are in a fantastic region to grow citrus. You know, we're not limited on water supply. We've got good rich soils. We produce a fabulous piece of fruit. So I'm definitely investing more into the farm. I see it a great way to diversify and really provide a quality product, you know, to our public. I'm very excited about it, you know. So in the spring we're planting grapefruit, tangos, quiches, and a mandarin called a Shiranui.
Reporting in Atkinson for the Farm Monitor, I'm John HOLCOMB.
Well, if low-carb, high-protein is your thing, especially coming off the holidays, then keep it here. An all-new Meals from the Field when the Farm Monitor continues.
Well, it gives me great joy to say welcome all to year 10 of Meals from the Field as we begin a new adventure once again with the great, the legendary Marsha Crowley.
Please.
Good to see you again.
Can't believe it's been 10
10
years.
2023, a new season of Meals from the Field begins. We got some new episodes coming up, new recipes. But again, 10 years running now for Meals from the Field. So,
And they said it wouldn't last.
they said it wouldn't last a day.
After that first one, they probably did.
Well, good to see you again, though, Marsha.
You too, Ray.
As you can tell, we are actually coming from Marsha's kitchen this month, so thank you for allowing
you're
us into
welcome.
your home. And once again, you've been hard at work before we got here, started rolling the cameras, preparing all the stuff. So what do we got?
Well, I think this time of the year, everybody's trying to lose a little weight.
Sure.
That's not the point of this recipe, but if you are, this is your recipe.
Okay.
If you're not, this is your recipe.
All right.
This is a chicken fajita casserole,
Nice.
very low in carbs. And if you're making this for more than 4 people, you will want to double this recipe.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm making one, I've already made one, and I'm making one to take to a friend after the show. All right, this is about 3/4 of a cup of black beans that have been drained in the bottom of a prepared dish. I love this recipe so much. If you really wanted to make it completely low carb, you could leave the beans out, but personally, I think you need the beans.
Okay.
Let's see here. Then a half a can, about a half a cup of tomatoes with green chilies in them. Any brand will do, but there is a very popular brand out there. All right, then these are chicken fingers that I have cut in half lengthwise to make them chicken strips. You're going to layer those. I hate to use my fingers on raw chicken, but I'm going to have to.
And you cut these up yourself?
I did, but I bought chicken fingers.
Okay.
Chickens and cut them up like this. Now you could do it really to save more money. You could use chicken thighs. You could buy the just boneless, skinless chicken breast and cut them like this yourself to save a little money. But in the essence of time, just layer those in there evenly. All right, we're done with this. Let's move that out of the way.
Put it back there.
All right, this is homemade taco seasoning. And all that is a little bit of chili powder, a little bit of cumin, garlic powder, salt, and oregano. You're just going to mix that up. Now, you can use the packaged taco seasoning if you want. No problem. Make it really easy. There's just some preservatives in there and a lot more sodium than this.
It's more rewarding when you make it yourself, too.
Yeah, and you can keeps forever if you've got all the things on hand. You're going to sprinkle a little bit of that, a couple tablespoons over the chicken. I'm telling you, it's good.
You put some extra spices in there, too?
Oh,
I
yeah,
guess, if
you can
want.
spice it up however you want. I cut down on the chili powder. All right, this is any color pepper you want. Purple onion, obviously. You're just going to spread that on the top. And the good thing about this is you can do all this ahead, and then all you got to do is stick it in the oven. And when you go to serve it, you can serve it with tortillas, make fajitas out of it, or tacos, or whatever. We're going to pretend all those are on there.
Like you said, if you really want to go low carb, just eat it as is.
Exactly. Yeah, leave the beans out. Or you can make this with ground beef. Like I said, I really, really like this recipe. And it was a hit when I tried it the other day. All right, then on top of that, you're going to add a little more of the taco seasoning to your liking. And then 2 cups, cup and a half, 2 cups of Mexican cheese.
All right.
Like I said, I'm taking this to a friend this afternoon, so
That's
we
that
can.
Mexican blend cheese you see in the cheese
Right,
section.
or you can use all cheddar or all Monterey Jack or pepper jack, or like I said, you bake this at 350 for about 30 minutes, and it is so good. It's good by itself, good with fajitas, tortillas. Okay, Ray, that one's down.
That one's down. We'll move this over here.
I'll move this back here so we have plenty of room. All right, the next one is a Mexican layered salad. Let's just move this stuff down here. And this is greens of your choice. I bought a bag of spring mix, but you can chop up lettuce or do whatever you want with it.
What do we got? Some spinach in there.
That's spinach and I think it's got lettuce, it's got some arugula, and all you're doing here is you're layering. This is red bell pepper.
Is that bowl big enough?
Yeah, it's big enough. I did it earlier. It smushes down, believe me.
Okay.
And then you're going to do some purple onion. And here again, you can swap out. If you don't like onion, you can leave it out. If you don't like pepper, leave it out. And you can do this ahead as well. Okay, then you've got some avocado. If you don't like avocado, you can leave it out. How's that? Then you've got tomato, cucumber. Like I said, you could put in here anything that you want. Cucumber. And I had to use the bags because I was running out of space in my
Just keep piling on
refrigerator. And it does mush down, I promise. Okay, and then for the dressing, we've got 3/4 cup of mayonnaise, about 1/4 cup of green chilies out of a can. And then you've got some oregano, basically the same thing as you had in the taco mix. And this for the dressing, it's got a little sugar, chili powder. We're going to call that enough. Stir all this up. And you're going to spread this on the top of that salad, making sure you get the edges to the edge of the bowl. So it'll stay moist, and then you can make this ahead and put it in the fridge.
And then we got a little tortilla chip. Now you put this on, then the tortilla chips?
Yep, you put this on, then the tortilla chips.
Okay.
And then you're going to put a little cheddar cheese on top of it. And that's it.
And that's it.
That's it. And it's really, really good.
And then you see all the pictures of the finished product there, and very simple to make. And like you said, it's low carb, and especially if you're trying to drop a few pounds following your holiday feast. And of course, folks, you can make all these recipes in your own kitchen. You can do so by just logging on to farm-monitor.com, scrolling all the way up to the recipe section, clicking on there. Again, 10 years worth of recipes. It just keeps getting better and better, and we just keep getting better and better.
We just keep
with
getting
age.
better, don't we?
You keep getting better with age. I keep getting older, less hair, grayer.
Well, don't we all? That is the moral of the story.
Well, Marcia, thank you again for allowing us
Ray.
into your kitchen. Thank you for doing this. And of course, we will see you next month, and we will see you next month on another edition of Meals from the Field.
Congratulations to Peggy Ozias-Akins, the 2022 D.W. Brooks Faculty Award winner for excellence in research. Peggy Ozias-Akins is a University of Georgia Distinguished Research Professor and D.W. Brooks Distinguished Professor in the Department of Horticulture on the UGA Tifton campus. From 2012 to 2022, she served as Director of the Institute of Plant Breeding, Genetics, and Genomics, which includes faculty and affiliated members at UGA's Athens, Griffin, and Tifton campuses. After 2 years as a visiting assistant research scientist at the University of Florida, Ozias-Akins joined UGA's College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences as an assistant professor in 1986. She was promoted to full professor in 1999. Her research focuses on apomictic reproduction in grasses and peanut molecular genetics. Her research group cloned the first gene for parthenogenesis from plants that naturally reproduce asexually without fertilization, and demonstrated its function in multiple grasses, including pearl millet, rice, and maize. Ozias-Akins served as co-chair of the International Peanut Genome Sequencing Project, which culminated in the generation of genome sequences from cultivated peanut and its diploid progenitors, and works with breeders to translate genome information to facilitate crop improvement. She is a fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, the Society for In Vitro Biology, and the American Peanut Research and Education Society. She has served as Secretary, Vice President, President, and past President of the National Association of Plant Breeders and has published 192 refereed journal articles.
Finally this week, nitrogen fertilizer. As many of you know, it's vital to achieve optimal crop growth, but it can also pose unique challenges. In this report by USDA ARS, scientists explain how farmers can use nitrogen while at the same time save money and protect the planet.
We live in a world that has yet to achieve food security. 700 million people go to bed hungry each night, and our population continues to grow. By the year 2050, 9.8 billion people will dot the earth, and much of this growth is projected in the least developed countries. To solve such a global problem, people around the world are turning to many tools, including fertilizer nutrients. Nitrogen fertilizer in particular is a critical resource for farmers.
One of the primary crops that we grow here is corn, and corn needs nitrogen. Nitrogen is a nutrient that all plants need, but corn is unable to scavenge that or produce it itself, unlike a soybean crop.
Grain crops treated with nitrogen fertilizer yield about twice as much as those without. It's a key ingredient in producing both a high yield and a quality crop. But nitrogen fertilizer comes with many challenges. In fact, it's one of the most difficult input decisions farmers make. You see, fertilizer nitrogen is not very stable. Many refer to it as reactive nitrogen.
The challenge with nitrogen, though, however, is that it moves, and so it can denitrify, it can leach, it can move with the soil off-site.
So while plants need nitrogen to grow and produce an optimal yield, it can easily move off fields when it is not applied correctly, posing a threat to the surrounding environment. Because of these environmental dangers, farmers should pay special attention to their nitrogen management and be as efficient as possible. Researchers from the Cropping Systems and Water Quality Research Unit in Columbia, Missouri, seek answers through science and technology that promote efficient nitrogen fertilizer use, while also protecting the environment.
One of the things that we've been working on is taking tools that farmers use and modifying them with soil and weather information to help farmers have a smarter nitrogen management tool.
There are a number of different things that farmers can do to prevent nitrogen loss. One is to apply the nitrogen at the time of year that the crops are ready to use it, not have it sitting in the ground for an excessive amount of time.
However, nitrogen's fickle nature is not the only difficulty when it comes to the timing and method of fertilizer application.
Another reason why it's a challenge is that the amount of nitrogen that's needed differs by different soils on the field. In some areas you may need more, in other areas less. And so being able to apply nitrogen in a site-specific way is an important component of efficient nitrogen management.
Scientists in the research unit recommend modern technologies that allow farmers to assess the differing needs across their fields and apply nitrogen accordingly.
When we vary the amount of nitrogen to match the crop need, we call that on-the-go nitrogen fertilizer application.
Their research supports site-specific on-the-go applications to promote efficient use of fertilizer and reduce excess applications, both saving money for the farmer and safeguarding the environment. As farmers are able to utilize this critical resource more efficiently, the world and its people will inch closer and closer to reaching food security and a hunger-free planet.
And there you have it, another show in the books.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Stay safe and have a great week.